everyone, and welcome to Dead Formats, a movie podcast piercing the veil, covering the unseen world of cinema. I'm your host, Chris, and this episode we're going to be discussing Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus from 1991. Today I'm joined by two very special guests who 10 times 10,000 years from now will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. Bones, DK, welcome. How are you doing this crisp December morning?
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, guys. Isn't it? Don't you feel it in the air, the magic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every year, these podcasters making us do Christmas movies sooner and sooner.
Not this one, though, because we're recording this on December 14th. Definitely not the morning after Halloween.
I don't know why you would even suggest something like that.
But yeah, these guys have been on the show so many times, they need no introduction, but I'm going to give it anyway. Bones is 1/3 of the 5-Day Rentals podcast. DK is 1/2 of Nerds, Geeks, and the Kitchen Sink, and also DK and Dan Like Bands. They've been guests on this show more than anyone else. They were guests on the very first episode, and so it's only fitting to have them back on as the final guests of season 1. Wow. Look how far we've come, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, like, the episodes we've gotten to do have been some of my favorite things of the year. It really have. They've been super fun.
Alien Contact, in particular.
I enjoyed the feel, like the feeling of, like, if you've ever worked retail and you have to work a Black Friday,
mm-hmm.
like when you come in and, like, everyone is, like, the feeling of we're all surviving together. That's what it feels like. I like, weirdly, it's a fond memory now, despite the pain.
Hey, can't beat that.
It's a measurable percentage of my effort this year.
Yes.
Like, if I'm to chart out what I had to work on, like, you see it. You can zoom out as much as you want, but there's still a little tick for a weird Russian alien book.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking at it. I was like, yeah, definitely. It required a lot more of my time than anything else. So, but I'm glad you guys have enjoyed it. I think the listener numbers show that people enjoy you guys talking about things on this show as well. So,
all right.
Beautiful. Well, thanks to everyone who has ever listened.
Yeah.
And they're in for a treat on this one. Easy breezy. You can watch this bad boy on Prime with your family. And then whenever you're done, you can question, what is this editor or writer's obsession with fairies? Because he brings up fairies 5 times in the final little editorial.
Yeah, so our Dead Format this week, it's another made-for-TV movie. It's loosely based on a newspaper article first published in 1897. It's a Christmas movie, and it stars Charles Bronson. Guys, how do you feel about Christmas movies?
Well, you always, for me, they were always given to me as a kid. They're always something that is around. Things like your Home Alones and I even shudder to say your Santa Claus and but actually for me, it was more like my mom loved the Christmas Carol. It's like, so that was always my favorite growing up. But we also did, what's the one? What's the
Christmas
one?
Story?
What is it?
Christmas Story?
Not Christmas Story. No. The one with Jimmy Stewart and the angel in the wings.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Thank you. Those types of a little bit heavier Christmas movies tended to be what happened in my house. So I like the fact that Christmas Carol has scary moments. Like there's a fucking ghoul in that movie. So
Fuck yeah, there is.
I don't hate them. I know some people really like recoil when you bring up Christmas, but sometimes you need a little boost around that time of the year. And as silly as it is, when you're putting up the tree or when you're just sitting around not knowing what to do, maybe put something on. It might help.
Most of my childhood, I was raised in climates that didn't get snow. So the Christmas time was usually, I would say, expressed or felt through movies like Home Alone. A lot of the Shane Black stuff that kind of defines my Christmas taste, I think. When I got the first date with my wife was in December, and she was listening to Christmas music, and she told me I'm a Christmas music obsessive. I start as soon in November as I can, and it has just pierced into my year.
Has she added Edward Furlong's "It's Christmas Time" to her playlist yet?
I dare not. But it doesn't. The crossover is kind of weird because sometimes you would think like, okay, hey babe, this movie takes place during Christmas. Do you want to watch it with me? And she'll say like, well, what is it about? And it's like, well, it may or may not have Dolph Lundgren trying to stop an alien invasion, but it takes place during Christmas. And I think her Christmas movie is a little bit different. So
she's more hot frosty.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm to pick something that is very much like, oh, that's the thing I associate the most with Christmas, it's the Charlie Brown special.
Sure.
That I don't know if anything is, that music can bring me to melancholy and tears maybe faster than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Every element of that hits the chord of, oh, I hate myself and I want to die. And I'll probably...
I mean, there's a lot of that in this movie too, but like,
yep.
Also, so there is like an animated thing based on this same newspaper article. I started watching it and I was like, God damn, this looks a lot like Peanuts. It was made by like the same director and producer, so it has like the exact same animation style. I didn't get that far into it, but maybe that's something to look out for. Yeah, a couple movies that are very formative for me are Christmas movies. One being Gremlins.
Oh, hell yeah. How did I forget Gremlins?
Yeah, obsessed with that as a child. I don't even really think of it as a Christmas movie, though, because it's just I watched it so many times. It's just like a movie. And Muppet Christmas Carol, which is the only Christmas movie that I do make sure to watch every Christmas.
Light the lamp, not the rat.
Yeah, that's right. It's like you said, DK, sometimes you need a pickup at that time of year, and it's basically it's just like, hey, stop being such an asshole. Like, it's just like sometimes you need that reminder. I know I certainly do. It's like, hey, stop fucking hating everything. And
Muppet Christmas Carol has one of the most aggressive, positive line deliveries at the end when it's Gonzo, right? That's telling the story.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say.
Even Tiny Tim, who did live, like,
yeah, who did not die.
Or did not die. That's what he says. Yeah.
Yeah. That gets a laugh from me every time. It's good shit.
Can I ask you guys about this other Christmas related phenomenon in film? And that is that the movies you received, if you got like a VHS tape for Christmas, you watch them on Christmas Day or around Christmas vacation, and they forever become associated with the holiday.
Yep.
I have a couple of those that are big time, like Rush Hour, GoldenEye. I mean, there's a handful, but really, those two are the ones that immediately jump at me. Like, for some reason, GoldenEye, like, if it's Christmas, like, I kind of need Pierce Brosnan to be maybe on the screen. Do you guys have any movies like that?
I don't think I do. I think when I was like really young, like actually getting Christmas presents, I was much more into like video games than movies at the time. So GoldenEye for N64, yes. Not so much movies for me.
Yeah, there's a long list. I mean, I would say The Matrix. I got that Matrix VHS. Like, we didn't have a DVD player yet, but that VHS was massive.
Mm-hmm.
Can go Men in Black is one of them. GoldenEye for sure. So GoldenEye, I'm not sure when that hit, but it hit in Guam over the summer, and I didn't have a 64 yet. And I got a 64 for Christmas, and my birthday is very close to Christmas. So I finally bought it for with my birthday money. But the bummer being, I moved to a place where I no longer had people to play multiplayer with.
Mm.
So
that is the ultimate. Oh,
I would associate that with like, that's when I stopped like, oh, I don't give a shit about multiplayer games. I want a single player experience because I live out in fucking
wait
boonies.
A couple years for Perfect Dark to drop so you could have some Sims in there, play by yourself.
I think the World Is Not Enough game also had Sims, like a multiplayer Sim version. I think they must have read my letters. They didn't print them in the rare editorial, but Actually, I doubt that one was even rare.
Yeah, I don't think I played World Is Not Enough for N64. I know Perfect Dark was rare, and it was like essentially the same platform as GoldenEye, just better.
What? Like more advanced, you mean?
No
yeah,
question.
like more advanced.
Yeah.
Well, GoldenEye was famously made in like a week, right? By like two guys. Like they knocked out that multiplayer code.
It's an astonishing feat. I know that. GoldenEye is like a miracle.
I was a big movie gifter. Like as soon as I started giving gifts to people, it was like, well, I love movies. They should love movies. So weirdly, George of the Jungle, the Brendan Fraser on VHS, I associate with Christmas because I gave it to my sister.
That's fun.
And she watched it fucking constantly. And then when Die Hard, the trilogy first came out on DVD, like a big special edition, like these massive gray, silvery DVD cases. I bought that from my parents. Like, you guys love Die Hard. And then I think within 2 weeks, I just had them. Like, I took them back.
Yep. I'm familiar with that phenomenon as well.
Yeah.
CDs is, I mean, I have the same thing with CDs. Like, I'm pretty sure I got Hellbelly Deluxe for Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yep.
It's a Rob Zombie Christmas, everyone.
I'm sure I got a video game that featured Dragula on the soundtrack for
Twisted
Christmas.
Metal 2.
That's, at some point. It was on every fucking game for like 10 years.
I don't think Twisted Metal 2 has Dragula. Not Twisted Metal 3 is what I was trying to... God damn it, I'm sorry. Twisted Metal 3 had Rob Zombie, but I don't think it had Dragula, but it did have Super Beast.
I think Black may have had Dragula, which seems weird because that was later. But the Dracula train, it just never stopped for 10 years. I guess more importantly than how you guys feel about Christmas movies is how do you guys feel about Charles Bronson?
I think I'll go first because I think I have to give DK the leg up on it. So I came to Charles Bronson a little later in life. He always seemed a little square. Same with Charlton Heston, like Lee Marvin, a lot of these like post-war tough guys. By the time I start watching stuff, their movie seems slow, right? I'm getting in. I'd rather deal with Stallone and Willis and Schwarzenegger. And then when I was smart enough to kind of go back, Bronson and Eastwood definitely rose through, but I think because Eastwood sustained and had a little bit more variation, he's more my guy. But yeah, I appreciate the hell out of Charles Bronson. I appreciate any guy who's like, self-aware of the farce. Like I appreciate that he seems like, yeah, this is silly. I'm aware that this is silly. There's much harder jobs to do in the world, so I should just do the work, be serious, and get the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, a very early memory of mine is watching Death Wish with my father. I don't think that it wasn't the complete movie the first time. I think I was just like walking by the living room and he goes, hey, come in here. Check this out. And it's Bronson taking out thugs in a subway car, and I was like, hey, this isn't bad. What is this? And so then we watched it and, Bronson has been like a way to connect with my dad, like through the years. I get him a Bronson movie pretty much for every holiday. As I showed you guys recently, he's like texted me like, hey, I watched Murphy's Law the other day and it was pretty good. And it's all because he recently he watched some Jason Statham movie and he's like, is this guy the new Bronson? And I was like,
no,
not really, but he is in the Mechanic remake. Yeah. I did say like, there's a little bit of a crossover, but you're going to get similar types of movies, but as far as like the personality, like no way. But yeah. So anyway, Bronson for me, like 10 to Midnight is one of my favorite movies.
Hell yeah.
I really love Bronson. I love anytime I can get him to say an insane line. I love all the Death Wish movies. I honestly, I love the later ones just as much because I like when they go stupid. To me, that's just part of the fun. He kills a guy with a cannoli.
Or a soccer ball.
A soccer ball. I love that stuff. And his line delivery, he's always been a mystery to me. Like, how did he endure? How did he continue to remain a badass for so long, really? I don't know, but he doesn't seem like traditional leading man material, like maybe in any way.
Nah.
So I don't, there is something, there's like an enigma about him. I did watch an interview by the way, I do have the Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus 2 Blu-ray.
Fuck yeah.
I watched an interview with the producer, Andrew Finati, and he described Bronson as having a face like a gargoyle. And I think that's about the best, most accurate thing I could say.
Yeah, I think, what was it? In Death Wish 3, I think Alex Winter said watching Charles Bronson act is like watching someone play golf or something like that.
I haven't heard that quote, but it feels right.
Yeah, I should probably look that up and get the exact thing. But yeah, I'm looking at my stats on Letterboxd. He is my third most watched actor behind Samuel L. Jackson and Nicolas Cage, which is kind of like, those you don't have to seek, especially Samuel L. Jackson, because he's just like in every fucking movie. But it's like, yeah, so Charles Bronson, I made a conscious decision to just watch a bunch of his movies. I think, I don't know, I just like got into Death Wish when I was a teenager or something and just kind of took it from there. Also a huge 10 to Midnight fan. It's been commented on by pretty much everyone that's been a guest on this show that there is a 10 to Midnight poster prominently in the background that Brantley Palmer sent me after I appeared on his show Horror Drafts and drafted it as like my favorite obscure slasher because it's fucking great.
It's for jacking off.
What's it used for?
I thought it was pie.
So good.
I watched a dual interview with him and Lee Marvin this week, and the question came up about like, what is it about tough guys that the audiences want, or what do you try to do to separate them? And he kind of unlocked something for me. He mentioned like in a lot of these movies, it's a lot of tough guys, and I'm the main tough guy taking them all out. And an audience needs somebody to sympathize with. So I've always tried to show some vulnerability. And I thought about that and I was like, oh, that's the corniness. That's the corniness that I've always tapped into with like these competent operators that I always appreciate. So when your dad brought up Jason Statham, I don't think Statham is capable of the corny patheticness. Weirdly, I think Liam Neeson is the closest to that right now, like on that level.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think I would agree. Especially like a movie like The Gray, like that could be Charles Bronson.
Oh, yeah. That's a Bronson script that's been sitting around.
Yep.
I mean, quite similar. Well, not super similar, but sort of like Death Hunt. Death Hunt is basically John Wick. I don't know if either of you have seen Death Hunt with Charles Bronson.
I'm trying to remember the last one that I started. I think, is it Breakheart Pass or something on a train?
Yeah, that's a good one.
On a train. Yeah. The only one that I think that's ever made me kind of mad was, I think, Messenger of Death or Angel of Death. I think it's a later canon one. That one had some elements to it that just really bummed me out. And then The Evil That Men Do, I straight up shut off. I was like, this is just too boring. He's not carrying this for me. Sorry.
What do you mean? He has a pet fish named Quasimodo.
How about Mr. Majestic?
Mr. Majestic might be my favorite Bronson. Like Death Wish 2, Death Wish 3. I would take 5 over 4. Those are super fun.
Whoa.
10 to Midnight I love. But Mr. Majestic, I think, is just the peak of him caring just enough and him being able to sort of move.
Yeah. You might have it there.
Yeah, I think I like Death Wish 4, 10 to Midnight, obviously, Kinjite, White Buffalo. Those are the ones that stick out for me the most.
Kinjite is like that. I think that's pushing, that's stretching the boundary of comfort
in a couple ways.
Yes.
But now I love eating watches.
So you would is Crackdown your favorite Death Wish?
Yeah, because I'm also like a big fan of John P. Ryan, who is the bad guy in that. So it's kind of like this is perfect for me because he's the lead in It's Alive, the best horror movie ever made, according to me at least.
Amazing. Is Crackdown, and remind me, is that the one where it starts with him having the dream?
I believe so, where he's
in the
basically
parking garage?
like Jason Voorhees.
And the guy's like, who are you? And he just goes, death.
It's a massive stretch too. It's like his newest stepdaughter dies from an overdose.
It's bad drugs. Yeah.
Like it's like, all right, man, you're really trying to
drugs.
find. Like a third of that movie takes place at that fair, kind of like an arcade.
Doesn't he shoot like 50 people at a fish market or a fish cannery or something?
I can't remember. That's got to be 4 because I feel like they're loading fish with drugs.
Yes, it's where he sneaks in as a worker with a
They yell at
submachine
him.
gun.
Yeah. He's like, you're not supposed to be here. He's like, it's my first day.
Yeah, he fucking rules.
Yeah, man.
So recently on the weekly podcast Massacre, one of the co-hosts besmirched the name of Richard Thomas, our other lead in this movie. Do either of you guys have any particular feelings towards Richard Thomas?
John Boy?
Yeah.
Truly no. I don't have anything positive or negative. Maybe negative would be his accent, but I know. Isn't he's in the It miniseries, right?
Indeed he is.
I don't really have any love for him. He's fine. He doesn't make me mad.
He makes me sad.
He's supposed to.
Yeah, but I just in general, like his aura is just, I feel bad for him. Like I was trying to think this week of like who other actors for relevance. All right, so the bad dude, Michael something from Air Bud, like character actor, little wiry guy. You'd know him if you saw him.
It's been a few years on Air Bud for me. I apologize.
Oh, okay. That's not a yearly watch.
I've never seen it, so let me look this up.
Dog years.
I think he's in Welcome to Collinwood, which is a Russo brothers movie that's super underrated.
Is it Michael Jeter? That's a
yes,
Michael. Okay.
Michael Jeter, yes. Just has a face that just makes me feel sad. But the Waltons I associate like In the Heat of the Night. Like, oh, this is coming on. It's time to go stop watching TV and do something else. Like the Wings syndication block has ended, and now the Waltons is coming on.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
Yeah, I'm a big Richard Thomas fan because I watch so many made-for-TV movies, and he's in so many of them. I think he and Meredith Baxter, like, they're the king and queen of the small screen. Like, he's in this movie, Stalking Laura, where he is a creepy coworker to Brooke Shields that stalks her and ends up like shooting up the office. That's good times. Fucking Death in Small Doses, about like, I can't even he's like some rich family in Texas and he's like poisons them. Another one called To Save the Children, where he's like a terrorist that takes over an elementary school. He's in a lot of stuff like that. So
see, I haven't seen those, but like those are my kind of. I love made for TV movies like that.
Yeah, just go down the list of Richard Thomas, and
so maybe I need to come back to you on this question because I just am not educated enough.
It's mostly that. There's also Big and Hairy, which is like kind of Air Bud, but with a Sasquatch.
I thought you were talking about Bones.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
It's all concentrated right here.
Yeah, he rules. I don't know what Murph is talking about when he's talking shit about this guy, but put some respect on his name.
You think he just found his lane and was just comfortable with it?
It's hard to say, because I've never really seen any interviews with him. I think anything I would speculate would just be like projecting other people that have followed a similar career path from him to be like, the typical like, oh, I was John Boy and then I didn't get to have a Hollywood movie career because I was typecast as John Boy. I don't know if any of that's true, but that's the way it usually goes. I mean, certainly based on the things that I listed out that he's done, he did get to stretch out a bit and not always be like a Walton. He could play creepy stalker. He could play Irish immigrant. He could play dad of kid that finds a Sasquatch in the woods and makes it play basketball.
That's range.
Yeah, it truly is.
Who am I to sit here and shit talk a made-for-TV Christmas family movie? But I will say, not super familiar with the material, because I think this might have been a play first, or maybe they do live versions of it now.
There is a play.
When I was looking it up, I think the biggest problem with this movie is he's in it too much.
Bronson is?
Richard Thomas?
Oh, yeah. I think the dad is too much of a main character.
I see.
Quite honestly. I don't think we get enough of Virginia and Bronson and dealing with the newspaper, quite honestly. But I'm sure they had Bronson for 4 days, so.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, I was taking plot notes. I did notice that there's a constant loop between the two that watching it for the first time is not that bad, but while you're taking notes for it, you really start to notice how repetitive the movie becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Had either of you seen this before?
No, I was familiar with it just from the looking through Bronson filmographies, but had never seen it.
I'd had the Blu-ray for a couple of years, but had not even cracked the plastic.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I saw this for the first time a couple of years ago, just watching, trying to find Christmas movies that aren't about Santa Claus or just random shit. And it's like, okay, Charles Bronson Christmas movie sold.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So yeah, this was based on a newspaper editorial from 1897 in the Sun newspaper. It was written by Francis Pharcellus Church in response to an 8-year-old girl, Virginia O'Hanlon, asking the question, "Is there a Santa Claus?" And that's pretty much where the similarities between this film and real life begin and end, because the small amount of research I did into the real life circumstances, nothing like it. The Richard Thomas character was actually a doctor, so there goes the whole subplot about being poor.
The thing I read in an interview was essentially he didn't have time to answer his child's question. He couldn't be bothered. He's like, I don't know. Go ask a newspaper.
How do you not have time as an 1890s doctor? What? You're not doing anything.
You're making house calls. You got to go.
You do 1 or 2 house calls, right? I mean, they're always represented as though they're always available and then they stick around for a little bit. Whereas in modern day medicine, you get there on time and the doctor's maybe in the actual room with you for 7 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think medicine used to be better even without all the science because they cared. Now you're just cattle, dude.
Do the numbers reflect that though?
The
survivability numbers?
I think we're pushing it. I think we're only meant to make it to 55, 60. I think we're defying God with.
I see.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I disagree, Bones, because no amount of you can't care away malaria. So I'm a fan of modern medicine.
I mean, Bronson is one of those examples of, well, how do you smoke all your life, look that ripped, and then still make it to 80? It doesn't make 81, I think he lived to.
Something like that.
I think the last few years of his life, maybe he was a little out of it. But
well, that kind of plays
dementia.
into this. But also his wife passed away in the early, I think 1990, something like that. And he really lost direction. And he also lost his longtime agent. So he really did not know what he was doing with himself. And that's when he does sort of puff up a little bit and do Family of Cops and this and other stuff. But he's dealing with real life. I mean, essentially his character is him in real life, dealing with the death of his wife. It's pretty brutal.
Just like Liam Neeson in The Gray.
That's right.
It's a good fucking movie, man.
I agree.
I haven't seen it since the theater, but I remember being mad that you don't get to see him actually fight the wolves.
It's not about that.
But I know that now, but I remember leaving the theater what the fuck? This is all I came for.
Marketing really fucked everybody on that for sure. But
yep,
there's the line delivery of him to Frank Grillo, "I'm going to come over there and beat the shit out of you," is the hardest anybody has ever sounded.
And that's to Frank Grillo.
Yeah.
Star of Werewolf himself.
Yeah.
Or Werewolves.
Yeah, so this film was directed by Charles Jarrett, who is credited as a director on 51 films, according to Letterboxd. Nothing anyone's probably heard of except maybe Condor Man or maybe The Boy in Blue from 1986.
Was Condor Man a Mystery Science?
That was Puma Man.
You're thinking of Puma Man. Yeah,
sorry.
for sure. Puma Man!
Condor Man, I think, is more of a self-aware, like, superhero comedy type thing.
Like a Deadpool.
Sure. Like a Deadpool. This film premiered on December 1st, 1991 on ABC. That's it. That's all the research I have. It's Christmas, folks. We're here for vibes, not facts.
I can tell you that it was filmed in Canada. Does that help?
Yes, Vancouver, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And also, it was shot in the summer. I remember reading that. So all the snow in this is fake.
Yep.
It was like 90-something degrees. Charles Bronson's wearing a 3-piece wool suit the whole time.
Hell yeah.
Sounds fucking awful.
Yes, Virginia, I have heat stroke.
So while I was watching this, I looked up on Letterboxd because our Virginia actress, I was like, I recognize her from something. Looked up her Letterboxd, and Ginger Snaps, which has been on my list forever. And this week I wanted to do, well, not this week, but wait, this is December. So like 5 weeks ago.
A month ago.
During Halloween, I thought, I want to do some werewolf movies. So I actually convinced my wife to sit down and watch Ginger Snaps last night. And we had an absolute blast, man. I'd never seen it before.
It's a good one.
Also from
Freddy vs. Jason.
Yes. And there's another guy from Freddy vs. Jason in this movie who I clocked immediately. Gary Chalk. He's like the sheriff in Freddy vs. Jason. Got to keep this thing contained. That guy.
Damn.
The Lachlan Monroe superior. Kind of surprised Lachlan Monroe's not in this. He's in every fucking movie ever made. But yeah, this movie begins with the sound of church bells. Frank Church, who I will most likely just refer to as Charles Bronson.
Thank you.
He's wiping some snow off of a headstone in a cemetery. It reads, "Rest in perpetual peace. Elizabeth Church died December 24th, 1896. Daughter Eleanor died at birth December 24th, 1896. This is also one of those things. Frank Church, as I said, is the guy that wrote the editorial. He's a real life person. This didn't happen. His wife did not die.
So she did not RIPP?
No.
Okay.
And Bronson opens up his pocket watch, revealing a photo of his his deceased wife. Dead deceased is a bit redundant, but I guess like RIPP.
Perpetual peace.
Yeah. And he takes a nip of whiskey, but as he does so, he turns away from the headstone so that his wife can't see him do it. And he's like,
if you really want it, it's not the headstone that she's looking at.
You should be like looking down or something.
Yeah, you should lay on your back and chug it.
Just go behind the headstone.
Yeah, fair enough. Because she's looking up, right?
Yep.
He kind of just walks through this cemetery courtyard, throws away his whiskey bottle. Some old woman gives him a very dirty look. And we get the opening credits. We're taken to the docks of New York City, and we're introduced to our other protagonist, James O'Hanlon, Richard Thomas. He's loading a burlap sack of something onto a boat when another dock worker, Goss, this is Gary Chalk, pushes him over. O'Hanlon tries to turn the other cheek, but Goss calls him a pot licker, along with some Irish slurs thrown in for good measure. The two get into a good old-fashioned brawl on the dock.
It's not bad. I wasn't expecting action right away.
Yeah.
So
John Boy can throw some hands.
Yeah. And he does.
Yes. So in this fight, O'Hanlon gets the upper hand, but then two of Goss's buddies jump in. It's 3-on-1. One of the other dock workers, an Italian named Donnelly, jumps in, comes to O'Hanlon's aid, and Goss pulls out. Are those just called like fish hooks? Like, what is that? The I know what you did last summer weapon.
Just a meat hook?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Fish
I guess
hook?
that's meat hook. He swipes at O'Hanlon, who throws a pony keg at Goss, and that causes Goss to fall off the dock and into the freezing waters. And this scene kind of brings up one of my main issues with it as I'm watching it, is that sort of in the world of this movie, everyone hates Irish people, but there's like James O'Hanlon seems to be like the only Irish person in New York City. Like you would think like, I don't know, it's just like no one comes to his aid. You would think there'd be like 5 other Irish dudes there to help him, but it's like I don't know. Did that bother either of you, or is this just like a me thing?
It didn't occur to me. I did notice they tried to show a couple different, groups like that throughout the movie. So, I don't know. That didn't occur to me. Did it occur to you, Bones?
What I keyed into is kind of soft spoiler here. When the cops show up later, I immediately thought, oh, that's what it is. That's where all the Irish are at the time. And thought, oh, they're going to offer him a job right on the spot.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, that scene also bothered me for similar reasons.
But I don't know, maybe the movie's trying its best to maybe be a little diverse by having like an Italian buddy and roommate. We get the Jewish landlady. Yep. There's the German mailman.
Yep, that's kind of what I was referring to. It's like they try to get some different peoples in there.
It's just weird though, because it's like there's an Italian family, an Irish family, and then like a German dude.
Well, you can't have it both ways, okay?
I suppose so. So we cut to a little girl, James O'Hanlon's daughter, Virginia. She's jumping rope with a group of kids. She takes a breather and gets into an argument with some girls about whether or not Santa Claus is real. Virginia and her friend, Maria Dinelli, the daughter of the guy that was just helping her dad at the docks, they insist that Santa Claus is real, while the other 2 girls argue that Santa is fake and Santa's just your parents. The mean little girl, whatever the fuck her name is, asks Virginia, how can you believe in something you can't see? Virginia says, I believe in God, even though I can't see him. And then the other little girl's like, are we going to play or what? Which I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
She's just, completely ignoring it. I'm wrong, but I can't argue. I don't want to admit I'm wrong. Let's just get back to jumping rope.
I think importantly here too is I think her shoes come up, her boots.
Mm-hmm.
That comes back later.
I will say that this didn't sit right with me at first. Honestly, you would think that the more Anglo blonde girls that are well off would be the ones that would be saying like, of course there's a Santa Claus, because their life's a little bit better. Where I feel like our poor little Italian girl and Irish girl, they're going to be a little bit more like downtrodden and hardened. And I wonder if there was a version where they were the ones that were like, there can't be a Santa Claus because our life sucks and it's tough right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, even if they're not like outright disbelieving Santa Claus, they would have to question like, why the fuck don't I ever get anything for Christmas?
That's a good point.
Back at the docks, Goss is being lifted out of the water. The dock foreman is getting on O'Hanlon and Dinelli's cases about starting a fight. What is it with you Irish? O'Hanlon tries to explain that it was Goss who started the whole thing, and then the foreman's like, look, Goss may be a bigot, and he may do some stupid things around here every once in a while, but he pulls his weight. And so
not a single guy raises their hand to say like, no, this guy started like.
Yeah, that's what fucking bothered me about this. There's no, like, either there are no other Irish or Italian people on the docks, or they have zero solidarity with each other. Either explanation annoys the fuck out of me.
It would have been a little bit easier to digest maybe if they were like all German descent or all Polish or something. And I know you run the risk of then making that group seem like the bad guys. But if everybody on that dock is Lithuanian, you kind of get away like, oh, you are the 2 odd men out.
Or even if you just show like, hey, we're scared to lose our jobs, so we're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Just have them whisper among themselves.
Shot that shows that.
Yeah, but they don't. They don't even try.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if they were Lithuanian, then they'd have Charles Bronson on their side and nobody would fuck with them. So the foreman's arguing with O'Hanlon and Dinelli. Goss chimes in. I know 2 workers that can take their place. It's basically just revealing his motives behind starting this bullshit fight. Dinelli and O'Hanlon are fired, and they head off in search of work. And a classic montage of 2 people unsuccessfully trying to find a job, people taking down the signs that say help needed.
Long-haired hippies need not apply.
Yeah.
That's why I'm unemployed right now.
And we return to Charles Bronson as he's coming into work at the Sun newspaper. He goes to his desk, pulls out a bottle of whiskey, walks to the bathroom, but finding it locked, decides to just drink in the hallway outside the bathroom.
He shows up to work, immediately grabs a bottle and goes to the bathroom to drink it. I love this guy.
Yeah, but that's what jobs were like back then. It's like he literally just has to remind his boss that he's alive by being in the office for 5 minutes, and then he can go do whatever he wants.
Sam and I have been talking a lot about the death of the third place.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with this?
Yeah.
Okay. DK, are you aware of the...
No, I don't know what that is.
Like the death of the third place is like you have work and you have home, and there used to be a bar.
Oh, like a bowling league.
Yes. There used to be somewhere else that you would go that could separate. And now with like work from home or shared office spaces, and like particularly like post-COVID, and like people don't go to restaurants and shit as much as they used to. And when I started this, like the idea that Bronson has a desk just seems very antiquated. Like I would feel like a current newspaper man works off of a laptop or mostly a phone.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Like not in an office. So it was like, I wonder if we see what his third place is later on, but yeah. I just was, anytime he was at his desk, I felt uncomfortable. Like I don't believe for a minute that this is where he actually works.
No, because also like he doesn't have an office. He just has a desk like in the middle of the newspaper office where coming up in a little bit, annoying coworkers can just walk by and say whatever they want. Charles Bronson, he takes his little bottle. He walks over to a nearby establishment, his third place, Brody's Bar and Grill, so that he can continue to drink and look at the picture of his wife in his pocket watch. A waiter walks up to his table and asks if he wants something to eat. Charles Bronson just ignores him. And in walks a man named Cornelius Barrington. Please tell me one of you guys recognized him. I clocked him immediately. I'm hoping you guys remember.
You're a little bit better at that.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. I thought he looked familiar, but I thought he was, I don't know, I was wrong about who I thought he was. Who is he?
One word to remind you who this guy is.
Beautiful. Are you serious?
It is.
Is it that guy?
The henchman from Trial of the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, shit. Now I feel like a dipshit.
I thought for sure. I mean, his hair is not as red, probably because they didn't want it to be like, oh, why is there another Irish guy in this movie? But yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. Now that you say it, of course.
That is, damn, he's not even on. Yeah. He's not on, the Letterboxd entry. His name was like John Doak or something like that.
So if you were making a TV movie in Canada and you needed somebody to creep out a woman,
yeah, that's
this was your guy.
I still say that occasionally. I mean, that's in there.
John Novak, that's the guy.
There we go.
Yeah, so he's Cornelius Barrington. This guy hates Charles Bronson because Bronson is a bit of a muckraker who writes about politics, corruption, scandal, shit like that. And Barrington's uncle is one such person who Charles Bronson had written an article about. And he says, if you're looking for Dr. Livingstone, he's already been found in Africa, not in the bottom of a bottle. I was a bit confused by this. I guess the intention of this line is just like, what I could kind of come up with is like, Livingstone died in 1874. Maybe it's like, you're so far behind the times, you're so drunk, like you're still chasing down stories that have been solved. Like,
yeah,
it seemed like a super specific reference to make. Back at the Sun, Charles Bronson's boss, Mitchell, played by Ed Asner, is looking for Bronson. Bronson has an article due, and Asner tells Teddy, I don't really know what this guy, he's like an assistant. He works for the paper. He tells Teddy to let him know as soon as Bronson comes back. And we are also introduced to Andrea Borland, a woman who writes for the society section of the paper. She goes to Brody's Bar and Grill, which is a men's-only establishment. She finds Charles Bronson there, drunk. She tells Bronson that Mitchell is looking for him. He needs that article, The Shame of Greatness. Bronson hands her his article. Half of it is scratched out, and Miss Borland heads back to the Sun. And Barrington is watching all of this from the sidelines.
So this men's-only bar thing was the first in a line of a couple things in this movie where I'm like, oh, this maybe is not like exactly a kid's movie. There's a few things, particularly something that happens later, but I was like, oh, yeah, okay, this isn't just for children. That's interesting. So, but yeah, and I'm sure that was a common thing back then, but like I felt like I haven't really seen that in too many movies. So I was like, oh, it's interesting that they showed that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I told my wife not to get any ideas.
No droids either, by the way. We don't serve their kind here.
Back at the O'Hanlon house, James returns once again, unsuccessful in finding work. His wife, Evie, tells him everything's going to be okay. She's been quietly working on knitting presents for the whole family, and James notices that Evie's shawl is missing. She's been using the yarn from her shawl to knit presents for the family. It's like just typical poor people Christmas movie stuff.
Breaks your heart.
The thing that's not realistic is that he noticed the shawl was gone. I would never.
Well, back then when you just have like the one outfit that you wear every single day, you would notice a shawl missing.
Maybe that's true.
And it might have been the only colorful thing in that whole drab apartment.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the things. It's kind of like, oh, they're super poor, but oddly unbothered that he doesn't have a job for what seems like months, for as many times as he goes back to the house and tells his wife he doesn't have a job. I don't feel the pressure, because we find out I guess Mrs. Goldstein, she's like the landlord, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's like super cool. She's not going to kick them out. I'm just not feeling the amount of pressure that I would feel if I suddenly lost my job. I would.
Sure.
And I am not as poor off as the people in this movie, but I guess it was a different time.
It stresses me out to think it's always the children that stress me out. Like the fact that people would just like have kids. And I realize like the mechanism with which children are born, like the sequence of events that have to happen.
Yeah.
And people always do that. But in my mind, it's like, oh, that's just irresponsible.
Yeah. I mean, in this scene, she's like, I don't have a shawl anymore, but I know where to go for warmth, James O'Hanlon. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
They're talking about hugging and kissing.
Yeah. But that, like my father is one of four, and they grew up. It was a tough time. But even as a kid, I would think like, why would they have four children? And then as you go back generations, it's like, Bronson's one of 12 or one of 15 or something.
Yeah,
so
something crazy like that.
Like, and they would just figure it out. And now a person has a child, and, one financial emergency will just absolutely crush you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, back then, your oldest kids raised the youngest kids until the youngest kids are old enough to work on your farm. So
yeah,
it's just free labor, essentially.
It was, yeah. And you would hope that one of them would be interested enough to stay on the farm and keep going. And I guess that's an insurance policy too. Like these are my future caretakers.
Yeah. Times are changing. At the Sun, Miss Borland has written Charles Bronson's article for him. She turns it into Mitchell. He reads it and he tells her that even as a drunk, Charles Bronson is still the best writer in town. And that also he wasn't always a drunk. It's just that he lost his wife and child and hasn't been the same since. Back at the O'Hanlon house, and I think this is where I first started to notice this gameplay loop of just going back to the O'Hanlon house and the newspaper back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Gets quite repetitive. But back at their house, Virginia returns home from school with Maria Donnelly. Maria explains that her mother is very sick. She can't go out for medicine. They've tried praying, but she hasn't seemed to get any better. And Mr. Donnelly has not found a job yet either. And Virginia says that all Maria wants from Santa Claus is for her mom to get better.
I was thinking about when I said earlier, oh, maybe this isn't a kid's movie, I was thinking about like, well, who really is this for? And is it for moms? Is this a mom movie?
Maybe.
Do moms love Bronson?
It's hard to say. Like, the Charles Bronson of it all is what throws it off. But
yeah,
the women are the most steadfast in their character in this movie. Like
100%.
Even when they're downtrodden, their moods are good.
And that's what I was going to say, because a lot of made-for-TV movies are geared towards a female audience. And the thesis of a lot of them is just kind of like, oh, the woman character was right the whole time. If everyone would have just listened to her, it would have been fine, which that's kind of like this, because it's like Evie's just like, have faith.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going to be okay.
Yep.
So had everyone just listened to her or Miss Borland, they would have been spared a lot of heartache throughout this story. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, though.
It's when you get to the scenes later of Bronson doing his thing that he attempts to do. That's when you're like, I don't really know who this is for.
That's when I was really like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, so back at the paper, Mitchell congratulates Charles Bronson for a job well done. Bronson says that the article he's working on about Taberny Hall is going to blow the pants off City Hall, and he goes back to Hunt and Peck typing gibberish.
I have the exact note. Bronson is a hunter and a pecker.
Yeah, what makes it even better is that he's not typing words. He still has to hunt and peck to type
gibberish.
Nonsense.
Even his nonsense is measured and controlled. It's in order.
Also, like, that's the opening scene of 10 to Midnight. Hunt and peck on a typewriter.
That's right.
I'm not a nice person. I'm a mean, selfish son of a bitch.
So good. You're totally right.
He's not doing the Tom Cruise level of 6 months of preparation before this. Like, no way.
No.
Can you imagine Bronson at the age Tom Cruise is now doing the Tom Cruise run? I would love to see it.
You kind of get like his version in like, I don't know, things like Kinjite. He does some like kicks and lightly jogs.
He runs a little in 10 to Midnight at the end when he's chasing the guy.
Fucking fast too, because he catches him.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's certainly not a stuntman with a fucking Lego mascot head on.
No, that's all Bronson, baby.
And a Ken Burns wig.
Teddy walks in quoting the Shame of Greatness article that Bronson didn't actually write. Says, one day I'd like to be able to write something like that. A real humdinger. This guy fucking sucks, right?
Thank you. Yes.
He's a little much. Yeah.
He thinks he's in a very different Christmas movie than what this actually is.
Yeah. Yes.
But, I mean, to be fair, though, it's not like you're really getting anything from Bronson.
It's true. It could be the reflection of Bronson makes him a little disproportionately huge.
Yeah. Bronson deduces that it must have been Borland who finished his article. He confronts her about it, and she explains that she was in a journalism class in NYU a couple years ago, and she saw him give a lecture. He's the reason she became a journalist in the first place, and this is her way of saying thanks. Bronson's like, that's all fine and good. You think you're cute, but nothing you or I or anyone else writes in a newspaper has a lifespan of more than 24 hours. And she's like, I don't believe that. And he's like, that's your privilege and your delusion.
It's a good line.
This is Charles Bronson working in a mode that he works in like 25% of the time, where he's just like outright a dick to everyone. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
O'Hanlon is waiting in the alley behind a restaurant. This is where he's been able to get old issues of the Sun newspaper so that he can check for any work that's going around. But suddenly, a man bursts out into the alley. He's a thief who has just robbed the register. O'Hanlon tackles him and gets into a scuffle with the guy. He helps the police apprehend the dude, and the owner of the establishment tells him he doesn't have any work for O'Hanlon, but that he can offer him food. And so circling back to what we were talking about towards the beginning of this movie is that at this time, this was when Irish immigrants were really getting into the New York Police Department. Every single one of these cops has an Irish accent. this does come back to pay off at the end. But while I was watching it, I'm just thinking, like, you're going everywhere asking for a job, like, and you don't even say anything to these people. You just demonstrated that you have what it takes to be a cop. All of them are also Irish, but you say absolutely nothing about it. It just, I don't know. I feel like it could have been written differently.
Yeah, at the very least, just because they even say, like, you've got some skills, man, like something to that effect.
Yeah, and like, O'Hanlon, that's a strong last name.
Yeah, and even just something as simple as like, do you need another body on the force? And they're like, not right now, but we'll keep you in mind. Something like that, just to amplify the effort. Because and there's also that element of, like, we get the montage of him trying to find a job, and then we see him hanging out for the paper, and he's frustrated that it's late. But the loop that you've referred to that is created, he leaves and then he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to find a job can be really exhausting and really demeaning. But
yeah.
One or two more little things of, hey, are you hiring? Or even if it was like, I did this for a day and I made 50 cents. This is a bummer. This is demeaning.
Yeah.
Would have, I think, gone a little bit further.
And also, they make that this bar owner is also Irish, and they talk about being Irish. So it just, like, it's really highlighting how he's not saying anything to these cops about getting a job. I don't know. Like, who gives a shit? It's a made-for-TV movie from 1991. But
did you? I watched. Like I said, I watched the interview with the producer who takes a lot of credit for pretty much everything. And the story was that they put an ad in the paper. They were just trying to make a movie. They put an ad in the paper and said, "Hey, give us, if you have an idea for a Christmas movie, send it in." And the person who got in touch was not a writer. And they just had an idea based around the Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus story. And the original script didn't have any of the O'Hanlon stuff, really. It was just really about Virginia and then a little bit of the Bronson. And basically he's like, hey, you have about a half hour of a movie here. Why don't you let me write the rest? So, yeah, that could be where some of the issues stem from. I don't know.
That sounds like a letter I would write to the paper. Like, oh, what if, like, Charles Bronson, he's like an alcoholic and he writes for a newspaper, and then, like, Richard Thomas, he shows up and he fights people.
Yes.
And then they're like you said, that's half a movie. And I'm like, well, yeah, I only came up with the good parts. It's up to you to fill it in with,
that's right,
whatever other bullshit there is. Mrs. Borland is, like, in some building. The Barrington guy comes back into the picture and he confronts her about the Shame of Greatness article. He knows that Charles Bronson didn't actually write it. And he's like, my uncle owns the Chronicle. We're going to do an expose about Frank Church and how you ghost wrote that article for him. And Borland's just like, my father's a lawyer. I'd love to see you try, bitch. And that's kind of like, this subplot doesn't need to be in it, because that's kind of the end of it.
It does for one reason.
Yes, that's true.
One reason.
Mm-hmm. I take it back. So the O'Hanlons were back at their house again. They're gathered around the fire or reading this article that was published by Bronson/Borland. James is getting fired up. He's like, yeah, this country fucking blows. We're poor as shit. Everyone hates us for being Irish. And Evie says that, like, Christmas shit of like, oh, we have each other. That's all that matters. Poor people in Christmas movie stuff.
I mean, you could say, hey, it's a little ballsy to have a slight anti-capitalism bend here for a minute that doesn't really last very long. But, like, he does sort of get fired up. I mean, this is, 1890s? So
yeah, this is progressive era.
Yeah, this is just before Gilded Age, really new wealth takes off. So I'll give him some credit that there's, even back then we knew the American dream was kind of bullshit.
Yeah, and do either of you guys have loyalty to one particular newspaper from your town?
No.
Yeah. That's another antiquated thing about this.
It was way more important back then.
Yeah. Because James O'Hanlon, he supports the Sun because of articles like this. And Virginia, she asks her dad if Santa's real. He explains to her that, I don't really know, but if it's in the sun, it's so. And Virginia goes to work on her famous letter to the paper. Barrington finds Charles Bronson at Brody's. He's all, I'm going to tell the world that you didn't really write that article. Bronson steps towards him and Barrington's like, don't even think about it. For one, you're out of shape. And two, I was captain of the Yale boxing team. Charles Bronson punches him anyway, says, I've done some fighting myself in Hell's Kitchen. So
thus
yes.
revealing he is Daredevil.
And yes, DK, this is, as you pointed out a couple minutes ago, this is the reason we needed this character in this movie. Charles Bronson had to punch someone. I would have liked it to be Teddy. Honestly, that would have been better, but this is pretty good.
Yeah, even the producer in that interview, he's like, hey, look, we have Bronson. He has to hit somebody. And he's right.
Wow.
I mean, he says it in the interview. If you have Bronson, he must strike someone in the face. And, it had to happen. I was losing hope, honestly, at this point in the movie. I was like, maybe Bronson's just really going for this vulnerable, depression thing. But no, he gets to do it. It's pretty damn satisfying, particularly when there's he hasn't done a whole lot else up to this point, and you're kind of waiting for some kind of a release like this. Pretty good. It's a good moment.
Hell yeah. Charles Bronson, he returns to his desk. He's once again confronted by the annoying Teddy. He looks at Bronson's watch and says, someday I'll have one like that, a real humdinger. And Bronson is just like, what? Oh, okay, sure you will. Bronson puts the watch in an envelope and labels it Teddy and heads home. And so when Bronson gets home, he makes preparations to kill himself. He turns the light off in his gas-powered fireplace, but leaving the gas on. He starts closing the windows and plugging up the cracks under the doors. He's looking at a picture of his wife while he's drinking some whiskey, but wouldn't you know it, his boss shows up and invites him to Christmas dinner. And they have this whole conversation about how Charles Bronson's like, he blames himself for his wife's death. She died of pneumonia while she was pregnant, and Charles Bronson was just never there. I think he says, during the 3 years we were married, we never spent Christmas together. Ed Asner's like, it's not really your fault. A lot of people died.
She married a newsman. She knew what she was getting into.
Yeah. Lots of people died. It was a pandemic. And so I guess he kind of talks Bronson off the ledge, or just him showing up was enough to make Bronson reconsider. And then my
question on this scene is, do you think Asner knows? He relights the pilot light and he turns on the furnace, or turns on the stove, or whatever you want to call it. Gas station? He turns on the fucking fireplace. He's like, oh, it's a little cold in here, don't you think? But there's a look that he gives where I'm wondering, does he know he just saved his life?
I think he knows. And I think also they make a super fucked up joke at this point where Ed Asner's like, I'm turning the fireplace back on. It's cold. Wouldn't want you to die of pneumonia.
Oh, yeah, that
which
too.
Is what Charles Bronson's wife died of.
Yeah.
And they both just kind of chuckle about it. Super weird.
Yep.
To me, the biggest takeaway of this is, does Bronson respect Asner as an actor? Because I feel like this is the hardest Bronson goes in the movie.
It's the most alive he is.
It's almost like he's like, this guy's the one guy on this picture that will really put me to shame just from, vibes alone. So
I think you're right. I think you're totally right.
Yeah, he has to rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Charles Bronson, who did not kill himself. That's sort of just resolved. And then this is where I was unable to finish notes, so we're winging it, Virginia and Maria go visit Maria's sickly mother, who's just on the couch, refusing to eat soup for some reason.
There's plenty of soup. Just eat the fucking soup.
There's so much soup, but she refuses because it's the same thing as the shawl that was unknitted. It's we're just showing these parents sacrifice literally everything they have for their children.
Yeah, she's like, make sure there's enough for your father.
Yeah. And so now, at this point, Donnelly and O'Hanlon simultaneously finally get jobs, seemingly across the street from each other. Donnelly gets to clean up at like a longshoreman's bar or whatever. He's like the new janitor. But immediately, Goss and his two bitch-ass nephews that took their jobs at the dock shows up and starts pouring beer on Dinelli. They get into a tussle.
He kind of shames the shop owner into the job, though. Because he's like, do you have anybody that cleans up around here? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of insults the place.
But I feel like the bartender like likes it. He likes that Dinelli's giving it back to him a little bit because they like smirk at each other.
Yep.
I guess if you've exhausted all your other options, flip it around.
Yeah, you just got to go around negging people, and
Yeah.
eventually one of them will give you a job. The job that O'Hanlon gets at this point is just like for the day. He's going to earn 40 cents for delivering ice. And this all meets up at some point because as Goss and his nephews are beating up on Dinelli, it's at this exact moment that O'Hanlon walks in delivering ice, and he's got like this big block of ice on an ice hook. He sees these guys beating up on Dinelli, and he does like a super slick move where he slides the ice cube across the floor and knocks
bowling.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely bowling. Yeah.
What's the ice sport where they push the rock across?
Curling.
Yeah, it's curling.
Yeah, I wonder if Ireland's ranked in curling. I feel like you only see the Nordic countries, and then of course like USA and Canada. I wonder if the Irish have a good curling team. But yeah, so they beat the shit out of Goss and his nephews. Dinelli gets the last laugh. He was about to do something, but
Dump
O'Hanlon,
the water on.
He does do that, but O'Hanlon was like stops him from doing something.
Oh, hit him with a chair or something?
Yeah, slightly more violent. He was about to smash a chair into this dude's face while he's unconscious. But he's like, nah, don't do it. You'll be just like them if you do it, or something, whatever. But he does get to dump some mop water on him. That's fun. The owner of the bar, he loves it too. He's not pissed at all that this guy that's worked for him all of 5 minutes is the source of a fight and furniture being broken.
This guy just needs some action in his life. I think
it's
just been a boring year.
Yeah, I'm sure a bar on the docks of 1897 New York City is never seeing action. I'm sure it's the calmest place imaginable. Next morning, Charles Bronson goes into Ed Asner's office. Ed Asner's like, we've done a lot of shit together. We've seen some things, anarchists, natural disasters. But I think this assignment I'm about to give you is the toughest thing you'll ever have to do. Wouldn't you know it? It's the letter from Virginia asking if there is a Santa Claus. And Charles Bronson, I don't really know why he freaks the fuck out. He doesn't want to write this. Maybe it's because he knows that it will soften his hardened heart if he's forced to sit down and examine the question of whether or not Santa Claus is real.
Well, the way he's like, you're going to print what I write? Like my answer? And Asner's like, yeah, dude. Bronson knows. His immediate reaction is, I'm going to fuck this kid's world up.
He heads over to the bar again. He gets one for the road, not just a shot, but an entire bottle of whiskey. He reads the note, pulls it out of his coat pocket with his fucking giant Charles Bronson mitts. Man's got huge fucking hands. It's something I notice every time I watch one of these Bronson movies.
Hell yeah.
It's genetic and inflammation at this point, right? That's just,
yes.
You've used these things.
It's got to be something like that. But he's just like walking around, watching people do Christmas things, getting inspiration for how he's going to write this article. He sees like a blind dude and just smiles at him. He picks up a rattle, a baby's toy, which
he sees like 13, 14 different fairies.
Yeah. He's just, it's just like, okay. I
guess. Is seen as Bronson's epiphany.
Yeah, they're just like showing him walk around New York, seeing things that will definitely come up in this article later. I mean, there is like a boys' choir singing about cherubs. Maybe that's
He thought they said fairy.
Yeah, that got stuck in his craw, and that's why he keeps writing about fairies.
Well, the rattle thing is, I guess it's, I don't know if I want to say clever, but maybe it's clever the way they worked that in, because if you read the original, it's in the article, the real article. So it's kind of interesting
John
the way
Candy?
they
The real article?
That's right. It's like they reverse engineered it in a way that I think kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And so, yes, once again, back at the O'Hanlon house, the German landlord lady shows up to their door and she's like, oops, I accidentally cooked an entire pot roast. I couldn't possibly eat it. You guys take it. And they do. A Christmas miracle, if ever there was one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cops show up and they want to talk to James. They want to question him about the whole kerfuffle back at the bar earlier.
And again, this is Christmas Eve. So you're being taken to the police on Christmas Eve in front of your whole family.
Yes.
And I have a note that says, I would love this to happen to me this year.
To be questioned by the police about something
to be taken from my home, like during a Christmas family event by the police.
Playing it coy for no other reason than narrative purposes.
Hell yeah.
At the rate ice raids are going, man, it may happen.
Strong possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just like, we got to talk to you about this thing that happened either earlier today or 3 weeks ago. It's hard to tell.
It was 2 commercial breaks ago.
Yeah. And so they bring him in for questioning, and he shows up the next morning with a kitten as a present to his family. This kitten was seen earlier. It doesn't fucking matter at all.
It's a burden.
Yeah.
An animal as a gift is never a gift. It is responsibility and burden.
And his family's all like, oh man, what happened? Like, you're in such a good mood. You have a kitten and a Christmas tree and food and all this shit. And he's like still doing that. I'm playing coy. I refuse to answer for some reason other than like what I'm about to tell you is life changing, I guess. I don't know why maybe that's just me, but the first thing would be like, I've got a fucking job. I'm a cop now. We don't have to worry. Right?
Yeah. You'd want to share the relief with everyone.
That's what it is. They weren't questioning him. They're just like, hey, yeah, this dude beat the shit out of a crook. He's also Irish. Seems like a no-brainer to get him on the force. And serendipitously, like, they also have this, like, the current edition of the Sun newspaper. That's Virginia's present to her father, James. And wouldn't you know it, Charles Bronson has written, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, the famous 1897 editorial. The O'Hanlons read it around the fire. Bronson's faith in humanity, I guess, is restored because he randomly also, like, he shows up at their door.
Many people break and enter into this apartment.
Everyone that's been in this movie so far, except for Goss and the dock worker, the dock foreman, show up at their door. Like,
they just all shuffle through the doorway.
The German mailman.
Everyone bows.
The Jewish landlord lady, Miss Borland, Charles Bronson, Mr. and Mrs. Donnelly, who I guess she's not sick anymore. The 2 little Donnelly girls.
It's insane.
Yes. Hanlon reads the article that mentions fairies no less than 15 times. It's a Christmas miracle.
They got Bronson to do the voiceover for some of it, too.
Some.
Yeah.
He couldn't be asked.
So there is one more thing from that interview. Bronson, apparently like 3 days before, like they're all on location. They're all getting ready to go. And Bronson calls the producer and says, I don't know if I can do it. And won't tell the guy what he's talking about. He thinks Bronson's about to quit the movie like 3 days before. And then they meet for breakfast. And first of all, Bronson won't. The guy's like, okay, 7 a.m. And he's like, Bronson wants it hours later. 7 a.m. is way too early because his movies film at night.
Yeah.
And basically, Bronson doesn't understand. Actually, he makes a good point because originally his character was supposed to want to go to the O'Hanlons himself. And he's like, oh, it makes me look like an asshole, basically. Like, oh, look what I did. That's why the other lady at the paper, it's her idea. She's like, oh, follow me one more place or whatever the line is.
Yeah.
So that was all it was. But I guess he was like thinking of quitting the whole thing because of that. So interesting little tidbit.
Yeah. Or thinking of quitting the whole thing because he had already done like everything important and didn't need to show up.
Mm-hmm.
He already earned his paycheck.
But yeah, getting him to do the voiceover, I think, was probably...
Yeah.
I wonder what that conversation was like. How willing was he to do that?
And it just like ends with this story was inspired by a famous editorial. Some of the events and characters have been fictionalized. The end. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Thoughts, gentlemen?
But wait, there's a tag.
Is there?
There's a tag.
I'm pretty sure I shut it off immediately.
Wow.
And I've seen this like 3 or 4 times, so maybe.
This is why earlier when I made sure that we mentioned the shoes.
Yeah.
Because after there is a moment where they're all opening their presents, and behind the tree is a new pair of boots for Virginia, and the parents both go, I didn't get those. Where are those from? They must be from Santa Claus.
Wow.
Yeah. It's powerful stuff.
There also look to be like size 13 men's for this 8-year-old girl.
She's going to grow into them.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, her dad's got a job. She's going to eat well now.
Fuck yeah. What do you think? How was your first viewing of the 1991 Charles Bronson Christmas classic, Yes, Virginia, There is a Santa Claus?
I would say if you're going into this thinking you're getting a ton of Bronson, you're going to be disappointed. He is far from supporting in this. It's primarily the story of a struggling father. Given what DK's filled us in on, it makes sense. But it also, I appreciate that Bronson sort of cares. Like, it does make it seem like he's reading the material and he's trying to make sense of it, despite my interpretation of how Bronson comes off. Like, that goes back to what I was saying before, like the ability to seem like you don't care or seem like this is silly while simultaneously caring enough about the image and the story and the audience is good. I think it's far from the most uplifting Christmas story.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and maybe that's a decision, but the air of the movie, the atmosphere of the movie doesn't really feel like Christmas. It feels like after Christmas winter where everything is slushy and it's even colder.
Yeah.
It feels nasty. Maybe the intent of that is to show how downtrodden they all are.
Yeah, I mean, it almost like not Christmas feeling. It almost feels like some movie you would have watched at like in high school.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, this is how shitty things were back then. There's a little bit of that.
Yeah, it does feel like it's poorly adapted from a novel. Like there's 4 or 5 further subplots that actually do wind in, and they just had trouble sort of adapting it. And you would score poorly on the exam because you only watched the movie.
Yep.
And the teacher based the questions off the book, so you're trying to fill in the gaps. So
yeah,
you're lucky if you pass.
In the book, Mrs. Donnelly and the landlord lady are fully fleshed out characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Bones, pretty much in every aspect of it. I'm definitely not mad that I watched it. I mean, it's been in my collection for a while now, and I've always known about it and thought, eventually I'll watch this Bronson Christmas movie. So, I'm glad I waited for the right moment. It's fine. I'm not saying I would never, ever, ever turn it on again, but I don't know what that situation would be. It's fine. If you're just looking for an alternate Christmas movie, but still kind of has a classic feel in some way. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It goes up next to, well, okay, not next to, but you can put it in the same category as your Christmas Carol and stuff like that. And It's a Wonderful Life. I do think, because those movies do grapple with some more kind of heavier things. And this has that, but, it's a much cheaper version. And,
yeah,
again, the focus not being so much on Bronson and it's on the struggle of the family. I get that. But imagine if Christmas Carol was way more focused on the family and not Scrooge's, whole thing. I think, maybe it leans the wrong direction in that department, but it's whatever. It's whatever. It's a family drama with Charles Bronson and he punches the guy. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you bring up the Christmas Carol, it is kind of exactly the way you described it. It's like, what if the Christmas Carol focused more on Bob Cratchit and very little on Scrooge?
Yeah.
It's kind of what this movie is. And so it's like, Charles Bronson, the Frank Church character, he's the one that really needs to, like, you know, have a realization, come to a change, which I guess he kind of does, but it doesn't really feel that way. Like, it really feels like next week he might try to kill himself again.
Yes.
Like, he hasn't really learned anything. And the Cratchits / O'Hanlons, like, they have no lesson to learn. Like, they're just poor people dealing with the circumstances they've been dealt. So it is kind of weird to focus on them so much because there's no, like, growth there. It's just like he gets a job.
Yeah.
That's his arc.
Hey, boy, down there. What? What day is it?
Go get that goose.
Incredible.
But yeah, it's like, I guess when you ask the question, DK, what circumstance would you watch this? I guess it would be the inverse of A Christmas Carol. It's like you watch A Christmas Carol to remind yourself not to be such a douche. If you have had like a really good year and you've been super nice to everyone and you've been happy all year, maybe watch this to remind yourself that, like, there could be some darkness around the corner.
Got it tough. Yeah,
that's right. Maybe this is it. Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, I certainly don't hate it. It's what you expect reading the tin, like middling Christmas movie with Charles Bronson. They still find an opportunity for him to punch someone. So it can't be all that bad. I think I have watched this multiple times outside of just like for this episode because Charles Bronson, Christmas. There's a limited number of movies to choose from that are not just like The Story of Jesus,
sure,
Christmas Carol, or Santa Claus. So it's nice to just have this as an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, that was Yes, Virginia. There is a Santa Claus from 1991. And with that, this episode and this season comes to an end. I want to thank Bones and DK for coming on and breathing life into this dead format with me. My Christmas present to you is that this was the easiest and shortest episode the three of us have had to do together.
Thought for sure we were doing some sort of Christmas toy quiz. Like which Christmas toys were the most deadly from
Christmas
the 70s?
Toyed with a D.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Which of the following were not on the island of misfit toys? But no, that's it. Special thanks to these guys because, as I said, they've been on the show more than anyone else. At least 50%.
We wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun, man.
Well, I'm glad to
100%.
hear that. I don't think you're going to think what I'm going to suggest to you later is fun. I mean,
Can it be 2026?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So yeah, special thanks to these guys because it's like, as I said, there would not be a show if they hadn't said yes to all of these things. Because when you total it up between Bones and DK, Nerds Geek, 5DR, DK and Dan Like Bands, it's got to be like 75% of the episodes of this show. So truly, there would be no dead formats without these two guys. But also got to say thanks to Brantley Palmer, George Heffler, Jim and Staring John, Kron and Dan, Dan from TYTD, Greg and Murph, Chris from Nerds Geeks, Triv from Trivial Theater, Chris and Dakota from Two in the Pinku, Steve, and I think that's it because every other episode was just you two guys. But basically, thank you to everyone that's been on this show and allowed it to exist because I do need guests for every episode. Otherwise, it's just me by myself yelling into the void about they could have done a better job writing this made-for-TV Charles Bronson movie.
Well, this show is so much fun to be on, and it's a blast to listen to. I've said this before, but your show has like a real reason to exist. I love finding out about these weird dead formats, these things I probably never would have heard of. I mean, it's so great. I mean, that's a hook enough, but then, you got cool people on it. It's fun to listen to, like I said. And hey, you know what? I don't know what people are doing for the holidays when they hear this, but I hope you're having a good one. I hope you're feeling good. Just everybody be happy right now and just kiss somebody on the lips. You know what I'm saying? But thank you, for real. Thank you very much. This has been a blast.
Turn off your fire station, your gas station, as DK calls it. Turn off your gas station, put the whiskey away, and just enjoy some family time or alone time, whichever you prefer on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
'Tis the season.
I'd be remiss if I didn't give a holiday message. So we shouldn't fear fairies. We may not understand them. We may not be able to see them, but they exist on a plane which we'll never understand, not in tens of thousands of years. And while they may be able to understand what we're doing, it's not our place. So just trust that the fairies are doing their own thing. You know, there's other things that we can figure out. So just let them be. Okay? Worry about the things you can control and not fairies.
God bless us, everyone.
Yeah. So on behalf of Bones and DK and all of the other people I mentioned that have been guests on the show, I'm Chris. This has been a season of Dead Formats. I'm going to go get my wisdom teeth taken out.
Good luck,
See
buddy.
you later.